at work, my microphone just sits right here.
That's right. You have a microphone
Every
at work.
day I'm mic'd up. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sick. Okay. So just to reiterate, this is my friend Maddi. We met some time ago, and it was obvious to me before, just like, I think one of the things I really, really enjoy about you is you're very much a big feeler.
Oh, yes. I'm highly emotional. Yeah.
But that's like, I love it because it is so different from me in that I kind of live here.
Yeah.
All the time. And like, in our first conversations, I was so aware, like, you have to do, and this is the thing I'm so fascinated by, which is to be such a feeling person in this time in your life.
Yeah.
Is it a sense that like, these are kind of my superpowers and I would never trade them? Or is it like, ooh, some days I wish I could be rid of this kind of ability to feel so much?
I think it's a mix of both, because I think it took me a long time to feel like it was a superpower to be so emotive. But now, for the most part, the way that I'm able to talk to students and other people about like being emotional and how we can emote, and that's okay, I think is a superpower. But the past week, for example, I think I cried every single day. So I think it's like there are days where I'm like, I could just use a break, maybe just a couple days off.
Yeah. And is it, I mean, I guess, because I don't know for sure, what about the past week, if you can talk about it, did you feel like had kind of set you in this place where it just felt like, man, this whole week, my emotions are kind of a little bit leading me in my days?
Yeah, I think there's just so much going on in our country, as we know. And I think up until this week, it was easier for me to like separate this isn't necessarily here yet. And then this week, it became very apparent like it is here and it's impacting our communities. And so then it's just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think one of the unique things too is the role you serve as a teacher. How long have you been doing it?
I've been teaching for 5 years, but I was a paraeducator before that. So I've been in a middle school for 12 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So would you say it's been the career of your life so far?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So like, and I think that's one of the other things too, is that proximity to the most vulnerable of us, which is kids.
Yes.
And then watching how that cascades the effects of all the social problems, issues, economic strain, cultural stuff flow to the most vulnerable people is also a uniquely tough spot. It's a tough seat to view.
Yeah. And I think like elementary school teachers, I think, get to know their students a little bit more intimately because they have the same like smaller group of kids where like I see 150 kids every single day. And even in that capacity, because I'm such an emotive person, like a lot of kids recognize that because I talk about my emotions, and then they feel a lot safer talking to me about their emotions and what's going on. So I just carry a lot for a lot of people throughout the day. Yeah.
And is it like, was it just a thing that like you've always had? Like we're talking 5-year-old Maddi, 7-year-old Maddi.
Yeah.
This person, a sibling maybe, is like, no, it's okay. And you're over there like, I can't even compose myself.
Yeah. Or it's funny because I remember, I think I definitely have anxiety. It's never been diagnosed. I've never taken medication for it. But I remember just being a kid and I would wake up and like something would be going on. Like my sister was having like oral surgery and I was in like 3rd grade. I didn't understand what that meant. In my mind, she's just having surgery.
Right.
And I was like so panicked and I had to go to school that like I just like ended up in the nurse's office because it made me like physically sick, right? Like I was so sick over what I was trying to like understand and so anxious about. But then at the same time, like my coping strategy as a child where if I woke up and I felt anxious and I was getting ready to go about my day, if I got ready and still felt anxious, if I switched my outfit, that would change the course of whatever was going to happen during the day to make me anxious because I was making an intentional change. And I did that all through high school.
No way.
Like if
That's
I just
brilliant.
woke up and had like this panic
Okay.
feeling, got ready, panic feeling still there. Okay, we're switching outfits.
Okay.
And that's diverting us on a different path for the day.
That's brilliant. You know what? I feel like that's something I've never done, and I've had anxiety my whole life. But even that awareness to be like, something needs to change.
Yes.
It's also such a healthy coping mechanism too, to just be like, what do you do when you get super anxious? You know, just like, I change my outfit. It's fucking brilliant. I love that. And I love that it's so effective. I think it's cool too, to just even have that awareness that like the resourcefulness to be like, hey, pay attention to what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And if there is something that's in your control, which when you're having anxiety,
Yeah.
the hard part is that recognition that usually you are having big emotions about something.
Yeah.
Like that's outside your control.
Right.
So like your sister's getting mouth surgery.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do anything about that. And it's upsetting me or overwhelming me. I can't control what I have on. And it sounds, I think it's brilliant. Yeah. That's okay. So then is that kind of, do you feel like the decisions you've made in your life, whether that's like what you did for your career or how you've moved inside relationships or how you cultivate friendships and stuff, do you feel like emotion is kind of a thing and feelings are a thing for you that are, do you see them as like facts, guiding information? Is it like intuition? Is it like something that's the most central to you? And has it like moved you through your life in all these ways? Or would you go like, it's something that I try to balance? Or how do you kind of reconcile that?
That's a really good question. I think it depends on like what it is, because I have always been so highly emotive. There are so many things where I know that it makes me feel more connected or more passionate towards things. So if I cannot connect to something on an emotional level, like it's making me feel something, it just doesn't serve me the way that I want to feel something. So that's why like teaching it requires so much giving and so much care. But then I also, for the most part, that is like reciprocated by so many of the students that I see. And so it's so fulfilling for me to be able to like give so much with my feelings, but then also be able to like, I don't know, just get things from my kids as well, right?
Yeah.
Like whether they come in and they're like, I passed my fucking math test, you know, and they're so excited.
You get to celebrate
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And that is really cool. I think sometimes, especially with like young men, and you can tell me because you're working with them directly, of the two groups, young women, young men, which is the group that requires a greater emotional education or inputs to grow in that kind of emotional maturity?
Yeah, young men for sure.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I mean, I would have guessed that.
Yeah.
I grew up with almost all women.
Yeah.
And the men that were in my life were always very emotionally intelligent. So it was always it was always a big thing to talk about it. In the modern era, it's very apparent that is a weakness in young men and in just also male culture.
Right.
And I think really, and I don't know, I feel like one of the things that I'm always trying to figure out, and you probably have these conversations a lot, is men aren't necessarily educated. Like they're having the feelings.
Yeah.
It's a lack of understanding where to put it, what to do with it.
Yeah. How do you show it?
Yeah. In a way that's sustainable and healthy and not corrosive or whatever. And especially when it's a non-enjoyable feeling.
Oh, yeah.
And what are you finding, like, is there anything that helps that? Or how have you kind of walked some of those interactions out, or those like little challenges that you meet in the kids? Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting because I notice, even because I teach 6th grade and 8th grade, which is a big difference between where individuals are at. But even to my 6th graders, there's a lot of touching that happens in middle school.
Okay.
And especially between like middle school boys. And it always comes out as being aggressive for the most part. And I think just having conversations like, you can feel like you want to touch your friends because you love your friends, and you don't have to do it aggressively.
You have to punch them.
Yeah, that's not the way we have to show our affection towards our friends. Sure. Or just like frustrations and defaulting to anger, like actually sitting down and having like a quiet or private conversation. Like, are you frustrated with me, or are you frustrated with yourself right now? And like letting them express where their frustration is coming from, giving them a moment to feel it, and then being like, what are we going to do next? There's been lots of times, more so with like male students than female students, where they're kind of like clapping back and being really like short and snarky with me. And so often I just sit down and I'll be like, I need you to tell me what I did, because you're acting very angry towards me right now. And I don't know if I did something, or if you're coming in because you're mad about something else and it's just getting projected onto me. So I need you to tell me, because if I made the mistake that made you feel bad, I want to be able to fix it. But I think sometimes for males, we don't give them the space to feel bad about something in a way that's not showing anger, right? Like if they're frustrated with themselves or frustrated because of a social situation, it's less acceptable for them to cry while they're walking to class, right? Than a girl student is. And so we can still have these feelings, but I think just like making them talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because my son, there's now like this emotional education curriculum that he comes home with.
Yeah.
And we have conversations that I would have never had and would have never been at the forefront of his mind.
Yeah.
And my son is also much sweeter than I am. And he's so much more capable of like crying and just honoring what he's feeling.
Yeah.
And I've worked really hard to try to create that space for him. But I think it's so funny because, you know, I'm doing the assignment with him and I'm like, yeah, damn, like I need to fucking I need to do this too.
Right. Like how much is it also for the parents, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And mostly because like that anger thing you said a while back, I had read Brene Brown's, what is it called? Like Map of the Heart or something, but it's basically a book on emotions. And it basically reveals that like the average human being would define that they have, women would say, but I think it's between 5 to 7 and males it's between like 2 to 4. That's all they know. But the reality is when they did this huge evaluative study, she boiled it down, I think somewhere in like the 40s or 50s of like, these are the vital emotions you're feeling. And often having them unnamed and non-understood leads you to secondary emotions. So like you described, you might be sad. Yeah. But you move to this secondary emotion because you can't name. Right. And then you would see sadness is the same as frustration, as the same as embarrassment, as the same as whatever. And so because you can't, like you said, talk about it, you also can't find a way to get out of it or learn what to do with it.
For sure. Yeah.
So that's interesting to hear you say that. I mean, I feel like that's what I know, but it's also really cool to know that like, man, this is just still a thing that people need to continue to like be open to and work on, and especially young men, just because I want them to thrive. Yeah. And I would have benefited from it. And so it's cool that you're in that position to do that. Yeah. But that said, I don't know if you can talk about it. Is there still a thought? I remember a while back you were talking about how hard the job is now. Yeah. And how much do you feel like it's changed from when you started? And is maybe that how you see it? Or is it more that like, man, the needs of these kids has grown? Or is it the limitations of what you're able to do as a teacher? Where are you finding kind of the stress point in the role?
I think the stress mostly comes from the systems that are in place in public education, right? And knowing that kids need more support and they need these different things, and there's just not the resources to get kids what they actually need. Like that's the most frustrating part. The easiest part of my day is like when I am in my classroom with my students. Like that is the easiest part of the day. And they do need a lot. But compared to all of the other stuff that teachers are having to do like behind the scenes, the in the classroom part is easiest. But I think other teachers might have a different opinion, because for me, the classroom management piece is something that really stresses teachers out. And for my mental and emotional capacity, I'm just like, I'm not going to argue with a 12-year-old today. Like, it's not going to be a power struggle for me. Right. If they're going to do something and they're going to have a moment and shut down, I'm going to tell them they can have that. But like, I'm not going to make it a power dynamic. I'll revisit it later. Right. We can come back to it. But like, I'm like, they're 12-year-old. Mm-hmm. It's not something I'm going to do.
Probably not going to be worth it. No. Plus I'm going to probably see him tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's also tough. So what is the age range that you're teaching? I'm just curious, just so I know for sure.
So 11, right? So 6th graders come in. Most of them are 11. Okay. And then 8th graders, most of them are 14 when they're leaving.
Oh, you have like you have like the most chaotic.
It is so fun.
I mean, it's cool to hear you say that, because that to me just feels like such a chaotic moment in my own life. Yeah. Your sense of identity, at least my sense of identity at that time, is so fragile. Oh, at 14. And like, even knowing what's right and wrong. Yeah. The nature of how powerful the peer view is on yourself is like at no time in my life. Yeah. How you feel. And you think so much externally about others.
And everyone's noticing you, and you can't do X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
That's
It's
crazy.
just chaos.
And so, do you
every
pick
day.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like fucking signing up for the smoke.
Yeah. I did.
What about is it because do you feel like you're able to make the biggest impression there? Is that because?
I think what's fun about middle school is one, there's like specialized subjects, which I teach science. Science is fun. We do a lot of stuff. It's like does not take a lot of effort on my part for there to be high buy-in for the kids to come in and do stuff in my room because it's science, which is really nice. Where
cool.
like math,
Fucking
a
Bunsen
lot of kids
burners,
hate
dude.
it. Yeah.
Fucking Bunsen burners.
But I think like middle school is so chaotic, but in that 3 years, kids are working so hard at trying to figure out what it means to be human, both like physically and mentally and emotionally. Mm-hmm. And I think we end up having all of these like beautiful organic conversations and moments that are typically based off of someone making a mistake and us having a classroom conversation about it. But like, that's how we learn how to be human beings and talk about how things impact each other. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
It's brilliant. I just love it. I think teaching and maybe you could talk about this too, which is like, I work in public service and so do you.
Yes.
It is my contention that you're always a little banged up if you decide to like go into a life where like you are gonna sacrifice your mental and emotional health to support another human being's mental, emotional, or physical health. And it feels like such a deeply necessary job. Yes. It's a job that I always describe people. It's a thing that needs doing. Yeah. So somehow, some way.
Yeah.
This
Someone's
got to
do
doing.
It. Yeah.
But I can think of why where my little wounds are that kind of walked me into this life. Because I've been in the service industry since I could work. Yeah. You know, my first job, I was 14 at Subway, a sandwich artist. Yeah. And that was like
slaying sandwiches.
I was, but just like with the green shirt back in the day. This was pre-Jared.
The smell too.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a disaster. Mm-hmm. But the point was that experience, I learned something even from the very first sandwich, because you would go in and someone would make the sandwich and it'd be dog shit because it never. Yeah. And I always was the kid that was obsessed with, I can see it there and it never looks like this here. So when I would make it, I would fold it all. I would evenly space everything, and I got like
you were slowing down the line.
Oh, I was, but I would get tips. I worked at Subway and the guy would just be like, "Here's $10.
Wow,
it's the most extraordinary sub sandwich, whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, it looks like the real thing." And that, like when I go to Wendy's, if you remember, old Wendy's had the square patty.
Yeah,
I would open it with this excitement, and it would never be square, and I'd be like, "This is bullshit," and it like broke my heart. It fucking pissed me off. So then, when the opportunity came that I made something and I got to see that immediate joy, in serving somebody, then I was in the food industry I worked in a French Brigade kitchen at Chateau Ste. Michelle for a long time, and then I worked waiting tables and bartending, and then finally I made the transition to like public service and worked for a spiritual community for a while because I got to be more intensively involved in people's lives. And then I was like, oh, fire's even more intensively. Yeah. And I just kind of found myself falling down this little well. What for you was the thing that you feel like either in your past or in your current life that like moved you this direction of like, you know what, I could have done probably so many things. You're quite articulate, obviously very sharp. Thank you. Why did you don't need my acknowledgement that you already fucking know it. I'm already recognizing what's present, what's with us. But the thing is like knowing that what maybe walked you out down that road of wanting to do this.
Yeah, I think I grew up as a Christian going to like a non-denominational Christian church. And it's really interesting because in my adult life now, like I don't go to church. I wouldn't necessarily like identify as being a Christian, but a lot of those values that are instilled about like serving people, I think like definitely helped direct me to where I am.
Sure.
But then, oh gosh, is this in the tissues? I need to start.
We're going to see if you make it.
I know.
It's okay.
I won't make it, though.
It's okay if you don't worry about it.
It's also funny because I feel like the longer I try to stop myself, then just
I think you're literally building a dam.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 10. And I think just watching her go through that whole process of treatment and then like reconstruction being a woman, but more significantly, like the friends and the community of women that she had in that time of her life, and how they continued to like serve each other and take care of each other, like just instilled this like sense of this like deep sense of like you need to care for your community and you are responsible for like taking care of whatever community you identify with. And all of us belong to like multiple communities and we only have like so much capacity, but we are responsible for that community at the end of the day. And so the school that I work at and have been working at for the past 11 or 12 years, like I deeply love that community. And it's so hard for me. I think that's why I get so frustrated with the systems that are in place. And that's where so much of my frustration with the career comes from, is because we know what we can do to like fix problems. We've identified it, but there's like, we're being told there's like nothing we can really do about it. But yeah, I love people.
You're not maybe empowered to do what you know you could.
Yeah.
That I think it is, like I said, you somewhere in you catch this, like something gets you.
Yeah.
When you decide, when you're like, oh, I'm gonna participate in this service industry. And I think the hard part is like there's these wounds that maybe have happened, whatever, but then I realize in the ways that they have like empowered me and given me other clarities and like awarenesses that I probably would not have had. And so that way you kind of have this weird dual gratitude and frustration with those. But what is cool is to, like you said, have that deep sense that there is some sort of, like the word I often use is duty.
Yeah.
That like being a human being and recognizing yourself and other people.
For sure.
Is when you, I think, begin to understand the duty.
Yes.
Because you're aware of the way that life, misfortune, and just the nature of what it is to be a person, how bad things occur and how much of it is outside of people's control. And the only thing that ever fixes that is other people willing to. Yeah. So like, you're like, and I think that's when I think of the best of humanity, I almost always lands on people who could see in another themselves, at least at that level of value. And I like the way you put it to recognize that there is some sort of responsibility to care for the community you identify with. Yeah. That you don't have to so stress yourself to be like, hey, I'm just give all my blood, all my time, all whatever to every single thing. But that to the group, that when you are weak upholds you, how can you participate in that reciprocity? Yeah. For sure. That is a really cool way to frame that. And it's cool to hear you have that same thought. Because I think often teachers are, oddly, there's so much criticism around the job and around the institution. Yeah. And I've always felt like, the institution is flawed, but I feel like so often the heart of the people that are there is so invested in the outcome being as good as possible. You've been in it for more than a decade. Do you feel like that's the case? Most teachers, most institutions, even if they're imperfect, they are trying to walk the right way. Yeah. And then it's what bureaucratic stuff that feels like
for sure. Yes, 100%. Because it's also so interesting. I don't know. This is like a very small example. Yeah. When novels, like class sets of novels, are being purchased by a school, those are taxpayers' dollars. Yep. And it is my understanding that because they are taxpayers' dollars that paid for them, a school cannot simply like give them to children or donate them or sell them, but like someone from the district comes and picks them up and then they go to be surplus and eventually just become garbage, because we can't do stuff with things that were purchased with taxpayers' dollars. And to me, that seems like such a...
And no one put like a statute of limitations on that. Yeah. Like, I understand that for the first 15 years, but after that, we want to be able to release these things in the public to, or to people in need, or to whatever, we could continue to support this literacy goal or whatever. Right. Huh.
I'm like, it's a
That's bullshit. Yeah.
books. Like, why can't we just like give them to the kids? Like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
And so it's so interesting because there are all of these ways, like whether money is specifically like earmarked for certain things, so it can't be used for other things. And so I just think it's like a really challenging system. And I'm grateful that I'm not in a position where I have to be making the decisions of where these funds are going and how things are being earmarked. But it's also really frustrating that like a quarter to a third of my 8th graders are reading at a 4th grade or below reading level, and we cannot get reading interventions for them.
Wow.
Because the money's not there. And we're being told to use. Does your son use iReady?
Why, indeed he does.
Yes.
But I also am a...
Enthusiast.
I am
You're an enthusiast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm an enthusiast about reading, and we read together almost every day, and he
Love
reads
it.
by himself almost every
Good.
day. So 20 minutes is his time, and then we read, and I kind of have like my book that we read together
Nice.
is a much
Perfect.
higher level.
Yes.
And he's a big sucker for a story, so he loves a complex story.
Love
His
it.
comprehension is great.
Nice.
Him knowing what the words are, all of the words and more higher level
Yeah,
stuff is
yeah.
like not there. So if he
Right.
reads it by himself, he's like, eh. But then like he just finished Roald Dahl's Witches. Loved
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
And then he's about to start another Neil Gaiman book, and he just kind of whatever. But then we're reading like a really weird high fantasy book that
Cool.
he's like super interested
Yeah.
in. But I pressed him on it, and he was years behind, and I just was like, nah, doggy, we're gonna. But it is really, really challenging. So with iReady, how is that? What is that system? What's functioning there? Is that what you seem like you're not a fan?
We're just being told that that is the reading intervention that the district can offer. So kids just need to be doing more iReady lessons to help bring their reading levels up.
Is there some sort of large scale aggregated data that proves that this is effective?
I don't know.
Is your
It's
experience,
just really
has your experience been that it is wildly effective?
no. And it's hard because it's just that the level of resistance from students is high.
They don't like
It's
it.
very high. Yeah, they don't like it.
What would they prefer to do, out of curiosity? If you had to guess. Or
I
what do you think
don't-
would be more effective?
An adult reading to them. If I start reading a book under my document camera or I'm reading, like, eventually they just settle in and they're listening.
No way.
And they're like watching me track the text.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so when I first met you two, and I mean, I'm personally just a little bit excited for you because I remember when you were going through kind of some. What's interesting is, I'll start here. What's interesting is, as someone who is so emotionally capable, you're not a romantic as you self-declare. No?
No, I think it's just because I'm very skeptical. So I like sell myself on the worst so I don't have unrealistic expectations.
Wait, is that because otherwise you would?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you're like
I feel like I've just been let down too many times. So now I just like,
I'm going to fall in love at the top of the Eiffel Tower. That's your
Yeah,
baseline.
yeah.
So you're fighting down
Yeah,
the...
yeah.
Okay, so then really at the heart of you are romantic.
yeah.
You're maybe the highest tier. You're fucking Hamnet. You're like, you're a Romeo and Juliet type thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is good to know because I feel like before I wasn't clear about that. And then I think before, because I would always be like, oh, I was always excited for you when things got better and your relationship was coming back
thank
together.
you.
Yeah, that was just, I was pumped. But also, too, I think one of the things that right now is really tricky is just the way that love functions in the world and the way romance does and relationships do.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you have a way, at least when I spoke to you, I think one of the things that's really interesting is you've been able to really, good and bad, really hold on to yourself. Even when I watch, which we're going to talk about later, the like Weekend You Deserve, the segment you do, that you've always been able to kind of hold on to yourself. And then even if it's really, really hard, I always felt like you were kind of with you. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that you were not like out there trying to get something by sacrificing what you felt you wanted, what you were worthy of.
Yeah.
And I think in this era with the way that dating apps function, the way that romance functions, and the way that there are more options and more chaos, I feel like, than there's ever been in that space. Yeah. I think if I were in that spot, I would go, how did you do that? What was the thing that was in you that you were like, oh, dude, this is why? this is my sense of value, or this is what I believed, or this is what I wanted. And how did you kind of hold that together? Even though I don't think it was perfect.
No.
But how do you feel like you survived that and got through that and like just kept being you in that season?
I don't know, because to be completely honest, I don't think that my perception of myself was that way because when all of that started, that's when I like started going to therapy and seeing my counselor every week. And it probably wasn't until like 2 months in where my counselor made the comment. He was like, I'm actually not that worried about you because you have such a strong sense of self.
Okay, so I did guess right.
And I was like, interesting. Thank you. But it is something that I think about, and I'm like, I don't necessarily know where it comes from.
Okay.
I would assume that it's probably because like how my parents raised me and my siblings, and we were very much just encouraged to be ourselves, but then also change with how our like internal voice is like telling us we need to adapt.
There's a certain amount of acknowledging what you feel and hear. What like that little part, that little what I always call like the little voice.
The little voice.
The little voice that you're like, I'm very good at being loyal to this.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, a lot, and it's cool to hear you say that, because one, it has not innately been my strength, especially not through my 20s and stuff. But the reason why it's become such a bigger part of my life, and it's cool to hear you say it, is because there's so much information on how to get somebody, how to succeed in this.
Yeah.
But no one ever talks about like what happens when you get gutted. What happens when you like
how
really
do you
get fucked
maintain?
up? How do you not betray yourself?
Yeah.
When you are your most vulnerable and most likely to do it, because you're like, oh, this hurts. This is yucky. This isn't going the way that I wanted. And that's, I think, when people like, I never criticize it. I just recognize even when people engage in things like manipulation or picking someone that they're not that thrilled about or settling in some way, I'm like, I get why you're doing it. It is hard to be a person and be lonely. It is a lot. And I don't try not to judge it, but I'm like, what is it for someone that is walking through that and maybe having a better outcome that they're doing? And for you feel like it's that experience of just kind of like having that inner sense of what you ought to do, and then even when it's hard, being loyal to that. Yeah,
for sure. And just, I think sometimes because I'm very comfortable getting and being emotional, I think a lot of people have a really hard time like just sitting with themselves. And so we work through and make plans for ways to be like avoidant of ourselves. But I think a lot of times when people get swept up in that stuff, I would imagine that they have not sat with themselves for a while.
What's that look like for you? You have to take me to the darkest road, but you can just tell me like, but what is it? You have to tell me the darkest road. Well,
sometimes, when the road was dark, sometimes it looked like I was, I would be laying in the bath with the Marie Callender's chicken pot pie sitting on my chest. Crying.
Oh, that's extraordinary. Oh my God. Okay. So that's the bottom.
That's the bottom.
That's the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you're in that spot, what is kind of going through your head? What are you allowing yourself to, just whatever comes up?
Yeah. Yeah. Just let yourself feel your thoughts and like acknowledge your feelings. And one thing that's been really hard for me is I am very uncomfortable feeling angry. Not necessarily like feeling angry. Emoting anger. Yes. It makes me really uncomfortable. And so that's something that like my therapist and I have spent a lot of conversations and like finding ways where I can like feel comfortable expressing anger, because sometimes we have to feel things, but we don't necessarily then emote them in a way that is productive. And I think that if we're alone, it's okay to do that. And I don't mean like single alone. I mean like you're in a room by yourself. But if you're actually trying to have conversations with other people, to emote in a way that's not productive, I think just slows down the process and can potentially like burn bridges or make other people feel uncomfortable than emoting. And so I don't necessarily like know what led me to feel so uncomfortable, like being angry, but I just instead like internalize. And so then I have to step away and be more focused and reflective, and then I can come back and like talk about things later. But it's just human emotions are so messy.
I don't know if there's as much cultural space for women's anger.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's also a little bit of permissiveness when it comes to male anger.
Yeah.
Often gets redefined as passion or care and concern. And then I think for women, it can be, and probably more often defined as being unhinged, irrational, or
emotional.
But
like this, it
gets weird. It just changes once it's in it. I think some of the time, and I think that culture a little bit permeates down through people.
Right.
And so you kind of know, like, well, men get angry and women cry.
Yeah.
This is like maybe more my job than that one.
Yeah.
Which isn't healthy for either group.
No.
Like literally, like therefore men can never actually express sadness. Women can never express anger. We're all at a loss for those ends. Okay. Well, that's good to know, because I think it's a hard thing. And I have so many friends who are in various spots in their life, and myself. And I think that's still one of those things that I'm always like, I've just watched a lot of people, and again, with zero judgment, where it's just human, where it gets kind of messy. Yeah. And you're like, you're fine. You know what I mean? And at times I've been messy. Like, let me not exclude myself from this reality.
Right.
But I'm saying it is that desire to want to be like, hey, when things go bad, you know what I mean? I'm such a like Mr. Rogers addict, and I just always think like those 4 questions he asks are just like the most. He's just like, what do you do when you're sad? Yeah. When you're so sad, you could whatever. What do you do when you're mad? Yeah. And it's like, boy, that is always the answers I'm trying to find. It's like, how are people doing this? How are they going? How are they undergoing that? I think everybody knows how to laugh. It's not like you need a manual for that. So it's like kind of easy to go to do that in a happy way and a positive way. But one other thing I was curious about too is, and again, you can say no to all this stuff, so don't feel like you have to answer any of it. But my stepdad just got diagnosed with Parkinson's. Yeah. And so, well, not like a while ago. Yeah. About, I don't know, maybe like a year ago, 10 months or 8 months. Yeah. But he'd been kind of having these symptoms for like years. Mm-hmm. And he's a brilliant doctor, and he is exceedingly warm and thoughtful and hugely self-forgetting. And so he's kind of like, I'm good. And we're like, you are moving like someone dipped you in glue. Yeah. And then as he's kind of gone through these treatments, some things for him have gotten so much better. Good. And it's been killer to watch how much happier he's gotten, being able to start whatever, but I think this is a story that you are familiar with. Yes. And I'm curious, because I think also too, I'm getting to that age where, and most of my friends and peers are, where like our parents are starting to bump into the later life realities. Yes. And we're starting to carry more of shifting into more caring for them. Yeah. And supporting them, and leaving less of like big mom and dad kicking in the door, saving you, rescuing you. It's kind of like, oh, it's on the teeter-totter's switching. Yeah. Yeah. And if you are open to sharing it, I'd be interested to hear your story about what that looks like to show up for your family, and what your family is currently walking through together with your parents. And you don't have to. No, let's do it, because I think like so many, we just like don't talk about it because it's hard. Mm-hmm. I think my mom was diagnosed with Parkinson's 9 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. But there's like nothing that prepares you to watch this human being who like was your caretaker just slowly deteriorate, completely out of their control. I gotta grab a tissue that I can't continue. And I think it's really, I guess let's start with this, because my mom was like our caretaker, like pretty traditional. Yep. Thank you. She was just always the one like taking care of us and doing all the typical mom things. And so now
to watch my dad be her primary caretaker. I think just has let all of us as their kids like see him in such a different, like, tender way than we had when we were kids. But also be able to watch that, like, it's just a lot. And I don't think reading about stuff and knowing other people who had Parkinson's, like, I think all of those things still didn't prepare us for, like, the personal aspect of when it impacts your family. Because there have been so many times where, even before my mom was diagnosed, my whole adult life, I have always called my mom on my way home from work. So my drive home from work, I always call her. And one of the biggest things that I think that has changed is there's just been countless days since her diagnosis that we're talking on the phone and she just breaks down because she does not feel like herself anymore. And she feels so stuck in a body that is so restrictive compared to where her mind is still thankfully at. But it's also such a tricky disease because there's no one size fits all treatment, and it's a lot of trial and error to figure out what works for someone. And so I think just like the constant process of finding doctors and treatments and care teams and all of the things that go along with it, while simultaneously this person is like, their mobility and what they're capable of doing all on their own is dramatically changing.
I think that on such a smaller scale for where we're at in the journey, my stepdad is 77.
Yeah.
But he probably has, I would argue, on the spectrum, relatively mild symptoms so far.
Good.
And that's great.
Yeah.
But it is still that process, and I'm stoked because he's actually going to come on and we're talking about it. We're talking about it for him.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things that I think when you think about getting older as a kid, you think about, like, I don't know, drinking beer, going to parties, traveling, hanging with your friends, no bedtime, unlimited bacon, whatever your fucking dream is, you know, just stupid shit that like you think of when you're a kid.
Dessert first.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I think that is so true in a lot of ways. And then the part that I don't know that anyone really prepares you for is that, like, oh yeah, there's this other thing we all forget to tell you, that like things are going to happen to me as your mom and dad. Yeah. And it's going to kind of make that part challenging to feel as joyous.
For sure.
And watching even just in my own life, my own losses in my own family and the grief, I think it's just such a skill that is it's never talked about.
No.
Never. No. And like, I have so many friends who've unfortunately lost people, and I try to, when I'm around them, if it makes sense, always bring up the people that they've lost, not in a big way, not like whatever, but I'll just sometimes see somebody and I'll be like, hey, always missing your dad. Yeah. And I'm like, or like, hey, you know, loved your mom, miss her for you. And just something to be like, I remember them. They really were here. And I remember them when they were at the height of their vibrance. I remember how remarkable they were. Yeah. And then as that stuff changes, it's just really hard because you have the full story. You know, you have the full story with you. You remember all of it. And it's so tricky to walk through adult life and feel like, are we really not going to ask about my mom again? Are we not going to ask about my brother again? Are we not going to ask about my friend, you know, who's gone, or other people I've loved that I've lost? I'm like, are we going to pretend like they didn't exist? And I get it. Nothing lasts forever. But like, so I do it not to like wound people, and I certainly don't do it to talk about this in any sort of light or cavalier way, but because we're just so fortunate to have the people we have. We just we have no clue how much time we get with
Yeah.
them. And I just always want to be aware of like that when we see people, like as you said, you are emotive, but you're also very much a bright energy. And to know, I think we forget that the people around us have so many things in them.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not so much, and it's not true always, but maybe not so much when you're 22. It definitely can be, but not as often.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start walking out toward 40 and we get toward 50, you start to meet people that you're like, oh, you're carrying more now than you were before.
Yeah.
And I always am curious how people are dealing with it. You have siblings, correct?
Yeah.
How many?
2, an older sister, younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you guys are pretty tight?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you guys kind of collaborate on this? Is this a thing you guys talk about, or do you guys each have your own space with it, or
both? I think we talk about it in the sense that right now both of our parents are like very resistant into planning what's next. What do things look like when things get worse? And so we have to talk about it behind their backs.
It's the loving espionage.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because otherwise it's just one of those things where like if you are completely unprepared, then what do you do? It's going to feel more stressful.
Sure.
And it's already stressful. So yeah.
And then is it a thing right now where you feel like you've been able to, I mean, 9 years is a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's new, but it's
No.
also always changing.
Yes.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
I just know that's how it's been for us. So I'm projecting that.
Yeah.
But, so you feel different at different times.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is something that you have been able to integrate well into the total experience of your life, or do you feel like it's pretty heavy, disruptive right now?
I feel like it's heavy, but not necessarily like disruptive.
Right.
Because I feel very fortunate that like, although this is going on with my mom's health, like my life has very much so been able to like carry on as usual. Right. It's not like I've had to move and relocate to like give my parents more support or anything like that. So I wouldn't say that it's been disruptive, but it is heavy. And like you said, it is always changing, especially as symptoms change or medications are no longer impacting. And then she also did like the deep brain surgery. So a few years ago, she did the brain surgery to get the dopamine stimulator put in her brain to help with overall symptoms and dopamine production. And so that was like also this big thing because she's like, it's brain surgery.
Yeah.
What if I die? But
And recovering from it can be really tricky.
Yeah.
Anytime my stepdad would tell you, touching the brain is a tricky game. Yeah.
Yep. And so it is just like this evolution of someone's, I don't think that I would call it healing because it's not a disease you can heal from. Right. It's like an evolution of coping.
That's a heavy way to put it. Yeah. It's like a wound you can't really bandage or suture.
Right.
And you just kind of want to see how long can we go on with this. And you so want the person who's wounded to still find joy in their life.
Yeah.
You know, but for you guys, it is obviously one of those things that it's a state of being where you're kind of in this medium space. I don't know how you would define it, but I guess sometimes when I come into those scenarios, I'm like we'll see patients that have very, different, but like very late stage cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the person is certainly here and they are talking and they are looking at you, but you are in the middle space where you're aware that this destination is a part of the conversation and not the same way it would be if you talked to an 8-year-old on average. Right. Yeah. So,
anticipatory grief. I've gotten very comfortable and used to carrying it.
How is that? How do you do that?
I think I have just accepted there's like nothing I can do about it. So I like feel sorry for my mom, because I think with Parkinson's and similar diseases, like, the person experiencing it does have to be given space to grieve the loss of themselves as they knew themselves. Because they're just not the same. But then in the same breath, like, I've also had to grieve, thank you, losing my mom as the super active, go, do everything social butterfly woman that she was my whole childhood.
Yeah. That is a tricky thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a million stories, as do I, of my stepdad in ways that are so, like, powerful.
Yeah.
And, like, at times kind of superhuman.
Yes.
Almost miraculous.
Yes.
So I am not where you are, but I hear you.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's I'm really grateful to you for being so vulnerable and honest about it, because I think it is, like you said, we just live in a culture that would love to ignore this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that doesn't make us lovelier, kinder, wiser, or more human.
Right.
And it also stops you from being able to be present. Even
Oh,
when
for
the present
sure.
is hard, I think
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
being able to see what's there. And you're obviously very gifted at that ability to kind of sit with things. So thank you again for chatting about it. But I kind of want to bug you about, you need to make have the weekend you deserve. It needs to be the weekend you deserve. It needs to be a segment. It needs to be something that either lives online. I will pay you to do it for me once a month, because it is one of those things that, like, I actually legitimately look forward to in my week in life.
Thank you.
Is that when you, and mostly because people are unwilling to be as vulnerable, honest about where they are in that moment. And what is so crazy is if you made a highlight reel of everyone you did, you could flick through it and you'd be like, she's smiling and laughing. She's in tears. She's whatever.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy good capture of, like, oh, I'm really in these different places.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what it is. And it's always so concise, helpful, human. It's brilliant. I think it's, like, as a thing, it is fucking brilliant. And so I don't know if you'll ever do it, but having done your first podcast, I feel like it's just something you should do. What made you start doing that? What made you start doing?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I should go back and find the first one.
Okay. How long have you been doing it?
2 years, probably, or longer.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a couple years. For context, on Saturday mornings, most Saturdays I go to the gym and I just film a little 1 minute segment. Mm-hmm. Happy Saturday from the gym parking lot is how it starts. Have the weekend you deserve is how it ends.
That's the name of the segment. It's so good. And then when you do it, what is the thought you have when you turn your camera on? What's the thought you're having?
Most of the time I've kind of been, because I'm a very reflective, I'll be, like, sitting on a few feelings and be like, maybe I should talk about this. Like, as the week is winding down, I'll be like, oh, maybe this is something that I should address because I'm, like, still holding on to these feelings. So maybe this is what I'll talk about. Some days I don't know and I just press record and then I, like, see what comes out at first. And then maybe I'll do, like, a couple takes, but I'm like, oh, like, I guess this is what I needed to talk about.
You found your way to something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't say that with any sort of, like, I truly think it's so good. I don't see anything like it else online. And it's also so approachable. And I love knowing that what's so great is I can be in such a different emotional space than you, But what you'll say, I'll be like, oh, this is fucking great. This is great for me to like hear this. And so I'm like, I love that I kind of can get redirected or it'll bring something up.
Yeah.
And I just think we all use our social media differently. No criticism to that. But the part that I think is so cool about what you do is that it's such an invitation for people to think about their own life and their own internal world in a way that is so just like human and real. And like you said, under a minute, like we're not fucking droning on. This is quick, bro. Like here it is. Think about it. If it doesn't mean shit to you, whatever, homie. Have the weekend you deserve.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So anyways, all to say, I have to say, just because even if people did it for themselves, it would be such a help to people. Like,
yeah.
And I wonder, that's why I was asking like why you did it. If for you it was like, I needed the space and I decided to share it.
I think that when I first started, I probably did. Like I feel like the first one that I did, if I'm remembering correctly, was like pretty upbeat and like a little sassy and more so like, why aren't all of us like doing this or thinking about this thing this way?
Yes.
But I do think now it's a form of like video diarying.
Yeah, you definitely want to say diarrheaing. So we want to start there. It's definitely not that. Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
But like being able to like capture these moments, right? And now I have like 2 to 3 years worth of like my weekends of how I was feeling and how I've been moving through the past few years of my life. Like it's pretty, that part of it is pretty incredible.
Yeah. I just think it's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad you do it. I hope you keep doing it. Yeah. I hope you make it public in some way. I'm not going to stop. As long as you know me, I will say this over and over again.
I've thought about making a TikTok account for it.
I can't be the only one fucking saying this.
But no, you're not.
Okay.
But I'm scared of the internet.
Explain why. Get into it.
People are so mean behind a keyboard.
You don't say.
You know, shit people would not ever say to someone's face. But if they get some keys in front of them, they're letting shit fly.
Yes. And you are, as we've discovered, we've talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah. I'm emotive. I don't know how I could like read stuff and then like not carry it with me if people are being mean.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'd have a hard time separating myself from the trolls. And I don't think that in any way I could be like combative to them, like commenting on mean posts, like saying stuff back to them to try to try to put them in their place. Oh, really? Yeah. So I think they would just like sit there and then I'd overthink everything and I just wouldn't enjoy it anymore.
Dang.
So I think part of the fear is like,
you can turn off comments.
I could turn off comments.
And you can turn off DMs too.
Yeah.
So the only people that can DM you are the people that know you.
Oh. We could do that.
Yeah. There's ways to build little walls.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm always saying this because you're right. As soon as you offer any view, you're going to pull a troll out from under the fucking bridge. The difference is, I think you would find that you are. It's the amount of reciprocity and shared benefit and whatever would far outweigh it. Doesn't change that those things don't always feel good. Yeah. And that they can sit with you, you know? Yeah, so, but I guess in a very selfish way, I'm like, I fucking love it. I wish more people could see it.
It's a Wednesday. I need to
I was literally like, I like it so much. I was talking to one of my homies before this and I was like, this girl Maddie's coming on. I go, blah, blah. She's a teacher. She's super sharp. I go, really funny, whatever. I go, she makes this bit on Saturdays. I go, I got to find a way to get it on mine. I don't want to bite it, but I just would love to pay her to be like, just once a month. Send me one of those and we'll put it up on a Saturday. I go, because I think they're so cool, and I just wish more people created things like this. I just love stuff that like feels like it invites you to just take a minute and go like, think for a second, bro, is everything good? Yada yada, and bring up something particular. Yeah. Also, sometimes like yank something out of you that you were like, I had buried that, like you know. Yeah. So, yeah.
I will say the negative part. Of course, my account's like private, so it's like my personal accumulation of humans that I've chosen to let into my social media life. But never once have I gotten any negative feedback from anybody.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a fabrication of my own mind of how mean the internet is.
The internet is an awful place. Oh, so you've directly experienced some negative consequences? No. Absolutely not. But outside of that, what I'm positive of, what I'm so positive of. Yeah. No, I get that. Well, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one. So hopefully our collective peer pressure will start to push you down this road, only because the world needs, I mean, in a selfish way, I was like, the world needs more of this and less of other things. So, okay, before we close, because we've been talking for an hour, so you've done it. You blew through this podcast like it was old hat. No great difficulty. Give me something right now that you absolutely love about your life. Something you're just like, this is going really well. This is something that I'm feeling really compelled by and is so, beneficial to you.
I feel like I have become so disciplined.
Okay.
With myself, with going to the gym, with a sleep routine.
Oh shit.
And I feel like it's like changing my life. It's life changing to be disciplined. It's amazing.
Okay. What is about this run that feels so unique? How long has it been going?
So because I've been doing my bingo cards for the new year for the past few years. Yeah. So no New Year's resolution. Mm-hmm. We make a bingo card.
Love it.
The 25 squares get filled in with things that you want to experience or things to happen in the year to come. And so then as they happen.
This is the first I've heard of this.
Oh, really?
For the first.
It is great.
I love it.
Yeah. But then as it happens, you get to like mark it off. Or if there's things that like deserve tally marks because you're trying to do it X amount of times, you get to, and it sits on the fridge and it lives there for the year.
Dope.
Yeah. But last January, it was no screens 30 minutes before bed.
Love it.
Because I'm a bad sleeper. I sleep very light. I get woken up very, very easily. And pretty like restless and like anxious brain, but cutting the screen time out before bed, glorious. I listen to an audiobook or I read.
Oh, reading is the one.
Yeah.
For me, reading is the one. I read, I sleep infinitely better.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been killing it now.
Been killing it. And the gym, like I think I've already in January so far, I've been to the gym 16 or 17 times.
No shit.
Yeah.
So
we still have a week left.
Those glute gains you were after you accomplished?
Listen, that's a whole nother thing. I had to get rid of almost all my pants.
So it worked.
Yes.
Oh, no shit.
But
now
then
you
I was
need
having,
a new wardrobe.
Yeah, but I also then was having this, I don't know my body anymore feeling.
Uh-oh.
And I was like almost uncomfortable in it. Because like my pants don't fit. That doesn't feel great when you can't.
What do you mean?
But
what did you think was going to happen?
I don't know.
What did you think was going to happen? Guys, I've been training my ass 3 times a week. Funny enough, my pants don't fit anymore.
I just didn't think all of the.
So now you're going the other way. Now you're on the glute shrinking program.
No, I'm just accepting that I have to buy new pants.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been having to buy new pants.
Okay. Has the collective, your friends, your people, your partner been like, hey, this has been a lovely product of all your efforts? Or has it been
Yeah. Or
hey,
even
dude.
Over Christmas, I'm like walking around my parents' house and my mom's like, your butt looks enormous. And I was like, thanks, Mom.
When you hit a goal like that you've been fighting for,
Yeah.
it does feel good. But you're right. Any of that kind of change, all of a sudden, you're like, is it one of those things where you were like bummed about the pants you like that you can no longer wear? Was it like that?
For sure.
Oh,
yes.
okay. That's what. Okay.
Yes. Bummed about the pants, but also it's like I have been skinny my whole life to the point where like a level of skinny where like other people are like comfortable touching my body to tell me I'm skinny.
That feels wild.
Like put their hands around my thighs to be like, oh my gosh, your thighs are so skinny. And so it's weird then to transition for the first time into this space where I don't really know my body anymore because I physically cannot close pants that used to fit me.
That's fucking brilliant. I love it. Okay.
And I constantly have to remind myself, like, this
but
is
how, but
literally.
when you say that, how many pounds did you really gain? Because just about every person I know is always like, I'm going to get bulky. And I'm like, you're not fucking going to get
No.
That's so incredibly hard.
I think if I think back to like when I first started this, because when like the relationship turbulence was going on, when I am really stressed and overwhelmed, I just lose my appetite. And so I think at that point I had dropped down quite a bit. And so since that point, I have gained 17 pounds.
That's good.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you able to now kind of like feel better about those transitions you made? Or are you still kind of adjusting?
I'm still kind of adjusting.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm feeling better.
Okay.
Yeah, feeling better.
Okay.
I think the other thing is
Are
like,
you eating like 140 grams of protein every day? Are you on that type of shit?
no, I'm more so in like the fiber part and just trying to really balance what I'm
Sure.
eating.
Okay.
Meat, healthy grain, carb situation,
Yeah.
vegetables.
Because you like to cook.
I like to cook. Yeah.
Yeah. And bake a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get it after the baking.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. So it hasn't really disrupted your diet. You haven't gone like overboard.
No, if anything, what has disrupted my diet, and this is my boyfriend and I eat so differently.
Okay.
Like he would eat red meat 6 nights a week.
Got it.
That's like, that is not at all how I eat. And so we've gone through this like phase of like really like adjusting and deciding how we're going to eat and how we should be eating for the health and the lifestyle that we want.
Okay. You're being very intentional.
With my words.
No.
What do you mean? Oh, with our
With your
choices.
food.
Oh,
It just
with our
sounds
food.
like when you say discipline, it's also the discipline thing, but it also sounds like there's a big intentionality about kind of health as a factor.
Yes.
And so discipline is like applied to your health.
Yeah.
As you're growing more healthy, you're starting to feel those benefits of having made those choices.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I also think like that one thing that makes you adjust your perspective on your own health as an adult who's like our age is like seeing how my mom's health has deteriorated from her Parkinson's. I am like, I can move my body so well right now, right? Like in October, I did my first half marathon.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
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 But like, I want to do what I can right now to continue being able to do all of that for as long as possible. And so if I'm not doing these things now, it's just going to be harder down the road. And so I think there's just become this like intense, I don't know if intense is the right word, but like intentional focus.
Yeah. There's definitely a focus on doing it. Yeah. That's awesome. I think I've always kind of been that way. My job kind of always requires me to be at some level of physical well-being. But that's also the other thing with just having a little kid is I share in that where I'm just like, he just wants to play.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to play with him as long as he wants to play with me.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, hey, the reason Dad can't play with you is because you don't actually want to play with me. Versus being like, oh, because I cannot. And so it is a big value for me at the same time. But that's just so cool. I'm so glad to hear all the way that discipline is kind of. Yeah. That's really nice. And the bingo card is fucking brilliant. I love that idea.
I know. You need to, I mean, January's not over. I feel like you can.
Yeah, no, I can jump on late. Yeah. I've already done some cool shit this year.
Yeah.
I can check off a box or two. What's one thing that you are a little bit anxious about? Can be good, can be bad, but you're kind of like, oh. So is there anything like that in your life that you're kind of like, I'm uncertain about this? And maybe you want to talk about this, maybe you don't. I can cut this part out. But I remember you talking to me a while back about considering leaving the career.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Yeah.
Shouldn't have jumped the gun.
It's been a lot of conversations lately because there's this idea like I could apply to take like a year sabbatical where my position could be held for me, and then I could sub in other school districts and just kind of see if the vibe other places is like something that I feel like is more fitting. I think a conversation that we had this morning actually was around, I cannot imagine doing something for a career that does not give me a strong sense of purpose. And working directly with youth and seeing so many kids throughout the day and building those connections every single school year definitely gives me this like strong sense of purpose. So what are these other things about teaching, like this extra stuff that I've taken on like for my school that I could offload and not do anymore so that I can maybe have more capacity for like after school and on the weekends, because by the time Friday does roll around, like I am tapped out. Like Friday nights, I typically don't do anything besides go home because you're just so mentally and emotionally exhausted, drained and overstimulated. So, but yeah, it's just so hard because then it's like, what else do you do? Because I don't know if I would get the same level of fulfillment working with adults. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I would get the same level of fulfillment if I was like creating things that kids could use, but I'm not directly interacting with the kids. Yeah. So it's hard.
That's tricky.
Yeah, it is.
It's like kind of like I get where and is it what's driving you to leave is the capacity to have other areas of your life expanded that you would love to have more time for. I don't know if that's with family or with your partner, or if that's pursuing other things that you're also really passionate about. What is the kind of impetus to leave? Or is it that you just kind of got to the point where you're like, I really fucking hate the way that I'm limited as a teacher in how I'm able to care, love, educate, and support these kids? What would you say? Maybe a combination?
I think it's just more so getting to a point where I don't feel so exhausted, because I think with where a lot of schools are at right now, the reward for doing great work is not higher pay, right? Like you don't get paid more for being a good teacher. No. It's more responsibilities.
Don't do good, job will get harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the part of it. And it's not that I don't enjoy doing some of the other things that I am doing on my campus, but it's like, because I'm doing those things, I am aware that like my attention or what I'm able to give to like other things is not where I would like it to be.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then one thing that you're like, unless we've already talked about it, one thing that you're like, this is hard right now. This is something that is hard. If there's anything like that, doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be earth shattering, but if there's anything that you're like, this is something that I am actually like actively trying to work through or solve or whatever.
Existing in the world right now, especially like in education, where a large percentage of like my school population is Hispanic. It just feels like there's like not enough that we can do to protect those people right now.
Yeah, I'm getting all kind of texts about it from every minority person I know, and every immigrant I know that I'm friends with, and even people that have green cards, and
right.
It's and even regular old people.
Yeah.
Just that is a heavy thing, and I am not seeing children every day. But boy, that would enrage me.
Yeah.
Back to the whole thing of tears versus anger.
Yeah.
I think my gut reaction would be fierce anger.
Yeah.
If I saw a child emotionally terrified by it. So I'm sorry you're undergoing that. I hope that.
Well, and then it's like one of those things too, where it's not at all like, it's a white tear situation. Like it's not impacting my life, right? Like there's very, very, very little risk to me as an individual.
Sure.
But going back to like communities that I identify with, like my school community is a community that I will like protect against all odds, right? Like my kids know that when we do our active shooter drills, I'm like, my place is closest to the door. Mm-hmm. That's where I stand. All of you, this is where you need to be. Mm-hmm. And I am here because I am 35. I've had a wonderful life. Mm-hmm. So if anybody's taking bullets, it's me.
Yep.
And I tell my kids that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "But this is how it is."
Oh, I've done some things. I've been a few places. Like, Like, I'm not trying to leave early, but I've done a few things. You just get started. You even know it's not good right now. None of it's good right now. You don't know yet. Yeah.
But so I think it's like being in a space where I don't need anybody to feel bad for me, right? Like I have these feelings because there is a community that I care for that is hurting, and I don't know what I can do to help. Like tell me what to do and I'll do it. So
I mean, me and my buddies are working on something right now separate of this, but we are working on a whole other thing, and that is one of those things that it is a massive issue with really huge power and will behind it. But I really did like what you said for your Saturday bit about how you were feeling and what was important to consider in this season. And I think at the very least that is something, even just that posture people can have is so important. But I think those are three really good things. I'm always curious where people are at with stuff like that. My buddy Nate is so good about asking that. He kind of calls it rosebud thorn. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but he goes like, yeah, and he's like, that's kind of the thought,
right?
And so it's just always good to catch people in a little space, realizing that those three states are in all of us at any one time, about a broad spectrum of
for
things.
Sure.
And so it's cool to just hear what people are carrying. Oftentimes, I think in this one, especially the heavy one, I think we're carrying that quite similarly. But otherwise, I mean, you crushed the podcast.
Thank you.
You did so good. But also too, just thanks so much for coming on and being willing to talk about so many things. I think our stories are just, I feel like they're so useful. I feel like people's life experience and how they see things is so useful to me. And I'm very excited just to be able to share you with other people that know, and I thank you again for coming on and just giving me some of your time, and hopefully we get to have you back, and I can't wait to show people have the weekend you deserve.
You deserve. Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, thanks again.
I feel like there's one more thing I should explain.
Oh my God,
and then you can like put it.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Wherever you want.
No. Hit me.
Okay. Because I cry in my classroom, like if stuff's going on, like I do cry in front of my kids, which some people are like, that's so weird, but it's also a space where we like intentionally talk about emotions a lot. And it's been really nice because I feel like a couple years ago, I like learned how to explain it in a way that I think is really simple.
Hit me.
All emotions I like feel very intensely.
Mm-hmm.
And my body is like a scale. And so like it starts at my feet. And as I feel things like more and more, eventually it just gets to my eyes and my feelings come out as tears. And sometimes it's pride, sometimes it's joy, and I'm like laughing really hard and I start crying, and sometimes it is sadness, but like my tears just mean that I have reached like this maximum level of feelings and I need to release some of them. And every time I explain that to like a classroom full of kids, I have kids that will do like the same thing, or they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's what happens to me too. And so they have this like moment of feeling like their emotions too, and the way that they emote are like so relatable. So it's very sweet. But
I love that. That's a great way to articulate it. I've never thought of it that way, but if I go back and think about the moments where you feel overcome by emotion, this might be the only nuanced thought I have around that, which is the amount of times I've been overcome by emotion in my life, unfortunately, isn't the highest volume of times. And I'm a very emotional person. Yeah. But the sense of being overcome where it manifests as tears. I know. Sometimes I like literally to cry for me, what I'll do. Because sometimes I'm like, I know I need to.
Yeah. It's so therapeutic.
Yeah. You're just trying to sell everybody on it. You're the fucking Don Draper of cry. Yeah. No, what I do is, I will watch certain videos on like TikTok or Instagram. So it'll be like when people have like tried a bunch to have a kid and they haven't been able to pull it off, and then they finally find out that they're pregnant. Or it'll be something like someone that's like really on such hard financial times gets a big gift. Or sometimes like a person who is sick is pronounced well. Big transitions from everything is bad to everything is good. Yeah. That for me is always such a like instant. And then what I'll sometimes do is like I'll watch it and we'll get the system primed. And I'm thinking now what I'm doing is I'm trying to fill up the gauge. I'm trying to fill it up. And then I'll transition to the thing I'm trying to have feelings about, which is so fucking horrible to explain. But to get my body to let go from the sense of vulnerability. Yeah. It's nice to have that kind of force you down a road. Yeah. Because like sometimes I even go to we go to calls all the time where the thing I've seen is wild, absolutely otherworldly. And you're just like, can't even be real. It cannot be real what we're doing. Yeah. And I'm like, it's hard to even access the feelings around it. Right. And so if I do that, it's just like a way. But now that you're describing it, like maybe that's what the fuck I'm doing. Maybe I'm just trying to saturate myself so I can go, let's get over that edge. Yes. So I don't know if that's even a word, but like a crygasm. You're just trying to like hop the peak. Yes. So I'm gonna be like, all right, now we're in it. I'm engaged. In it now. Like, yeah. Like I can actually feel the depth of that feeling without it being like my body going like, Yeah. It's almost like I have a resistant thing. I've been working on it my whole life. Yeah. But it's just.
Do you feel like, because I always wonder this for like males, you know, is it like society has installed a suppressor, you know, like a compactor that's like keeping things down for a while? Or do you feel like it's more, for you, it's just like more specific to you? Like, are you able to kind of separate or differentiate whether it's a societal influence?
Yeah. I think there's definitely a societal expectation that men are able to function and ought to function while undergoing dynamic emotions. And if that method is suppression, that's fine. But being non-operative as a male, meaning you can't go to your job, you can't manage the situation, you can't whatever,
right,
is culturally and socially, I think, in America unacceptable. So I think there's certainly some level of pressure. And I think there is not a lot of good dialogue around what you do with some of the more painful feelings in youth, like rejection or not being desired physically, not being desired relationally, not being considered cool or important or valuable, or like you don't belong. Those are deeply painful experiences often. And I don't know that men are escorted into a helpful way to manage that. And so I think suppression is another tactic that seems easy to reach for. The thing with me, I know is, unfortunately for me, I just grew up with a lot of physical abuse when I was a kid. And so I used to get struck with the command to be like, hey, it'll stop when you don't cry, when you don't make a sound. So I got really good at that. And so that always makes me very adept at handling really painful or bad scenarios and really not losing my wig, which is good. Doesn't make you great at connecting emotionally all the time. And so the work of the last 10 years has been the labor of, you need to fucking get rid of that. It's gonna destroy your kid. And we're so close. I mean, I just killed myself. I've been in therapy forever, and I've done a million things, and it's been so helpful. So I think for me, it's a me thing, and I think it's a cultural thing. But I think I do have a little bit of a little yucky, creaky door in myself that I'm like, I had to like live in that space for a while. And while I think I'm certainly so far away from it, you know, I can hear the hinges creak every once in a while, where I'm like, you could have done that with a little more heart. You could have had a little more gentleness, a little more receptiveness, softness. And there's probably also some bullshit for certain groups, especially minority culture. It's hyper masculine. So all my Latino friends, black friends, the concept of crying is just, in the broader culture, an issue, especially for the men. And it goes even beyond what one might initially assign as like homophobia. Or like homophobic thoughts around it. Like, oh, if you're crying, then whatever. It goes even into like, you're not even a man. It transitions into almost this other kind of label that is terrifying, and especially for insecure young people. It feels worth acknowledging that claim, even though it's fucking nonsense. There's some part of yourself that's like, well, I certainly can't be that. So I think it's tricky but I'm sure girls have similar shit. Don't you think? Do you think young women have the thought of like, don't be too emotional? You mean you've never been told that your whole life?
Oh,
no one's ever like, oh, Manny, now, dear, you are overreacting. And you're like, I can't help it. Whatever. Right?
I didn't learn this until I was an adult, but we had a family friend who I guess at some point like told my mom that I probably need to see a psychiatrist and maybe be like admitted for a little period of time because I cry so much that there must be something really wrong with me.
Exactly my point. You can't win either way.
You can't. No, you can't.
Yeah, so I think you do have to find your way with it, but it's really cool, and I'm so glad to have you on. I think you are, as you put it earlier, and it's why I was so excited. Like, you are one of the more emotive people I know. I recognize it in so many ways as such a superpower. I do, and I think it's like one of those things that I envy in a way. I don't want to get emotional, but it's like one of those things that like I so love the people in my life, and I'm like, I always feel so wildly lucky. I have like really cool family and friends, and I just always wish that I could feel and translate the feeling more effectively. I always wish they could understand the depth of it, and I wish I was able to like live in it more. And so when I meet people who can really feel a thing, I'm always like, oh, I envy that. It feels like such a gift to be like I would even argue I'd be willing to take the burden.
Yeah.
I would be willing to take the burden.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't think I would have said this when I was 26, 28.
Yeah.
Being 40, I wish I could go back and be like, I wish I could have been in every good and bad moment all the way.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to act tough or act cool or act like it wasn't super exciting or it wasn't the most fun thing you were doing, and just you didn't want to geek out because you didn't want to look like any of that bullshit.
Right.
I wish I could go back to like 24-year-old me, 22-year-old me, and be like, fucking rip it, dog. Just be a dandy, bro. If you're just having a ball and you feel like crying, you can't believe it. I just want you to hear me say, like, it's so cool to meet people like that, to know that they're out there, and to know that they also have the courage to live that way. I think it is such an encouragement for those of us who maybe aren't as endowed with that same skill. It's such a, like, gives permission, you know, kind of that Maya Angelou, when you let your light shine, you give others permission to do the same. Like that ability to do that is just like, I don't know, it just means something.
I feel like you do that though. Like, I feel like if you watch what you capture and share on social media and how you talk about people, like, I think the way you speak about the people in your life and the way that you capture the people in your life are just like nods to how much you love and appreciate the relationships that you have.
This is like a lovely compliment. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I still think that I am driving a go-kart and you're fucking Formula One. So, but anyways, but thank you so much again. And hopefully sometime, maybe in the future, months down the road, would you come back on?
Yeah.
I'd love to have you. Cool.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.